Spoilers for Arcane Season 2. So, Netflix just dropped a teaser trailer for Arcane Act 2 Season 2. And there are some very interesting moments in this, and I just wanted to go over my own thoughts and opinions on the teaser trailer and speculate what could happen later on in this season. The trailer first starts off with Savika looking at a statue of Vanda, and if you remember, at the start of Act 1, Savika was on Vanda's side, but she was the one pushing for revolution and change and a violent end to Piltover, or at least the rebellion that most of the Zornites were craving. Though, due to how Silco ended up and the kind of infighting with the Chem Barons, I believe that she will try and go for a more peaceful route this season, because she's been threatened by the Chem Barons and she's joined forces with Jinx. However, I believe that if she finds out that Jinx is responsible for Silco's death, she will do either like a violent sort of 180, or she will kind of start her own movement to overthrow the people in Piltover as civil war is inevitable. The next shot is the memorial of Benzo and Vanda and all of the other people who've died to the hands of not only Silco, but the Piltover enforcers as well. And this is a very interesting shot because of how we don't really know what the Fireflies have been up to during this time of the gang war. And I do believe that we will have some sort of skip in between the sort of third episode of Season 2 and the fourth episode of Season 2, because we did also have that in the first season. Later on in the sneak peek is what gives me that suspicion, because we see Jinx building up a kind of following, and everybody's got the same sort of blue hair, and they're spray painting her on the walls, and they've sort of rallied behind her back. And I feel like Savika's probably the one who started that off, because I don't think Isha, the child, is actually capable of building some sort of almost religious-looking following to Jinx. After the shot of the memorial, we then get a speech from Ambessa Madada, and this is overlaid with the memorial statue of Caitlyn's mum and the two counsellors who died in the attack. This really goes to show how vulnerable Caitlyn is to the words of Ambessa Madada, as she is now the figurehead, the leader of Piltover, more in name than anything else, because we all know that Ambessa will be pulling the strings behind the scenes. And Ambessa really puts an emphasis on violence, strength, and family, as we can see in the show. And considering Caitlyn has just lost her mother, and she's practically without some sort of role model now, Ambessa can now fill that gap in her life. And Caitlyn can do the same for Ambessa, mostly because Mel wants nothing to do with her mother at all. So we could see tensions really begin to rise between Piltover and Zorn in this next act. We then cut to a shot of Jinx looking in the mirror, and this parallels later on in the trailer with Vi, who is smashing a mirror. And once again, they are sisters and they have fought before. There's no doubt they will fight again. That's nothing new. But it does look like in this scene, Jinx is incredibly lost. And this could be where Savika comes in and says, you need to be our symbol. You need to take control of all of the Chem Barons. You really need to step up, because now we are leaderless. We need someone there who can guide us. And then we see Caitlyn turn towards the camera, and she's got her general's overcoat on, and she's ready to take some decisive action, or maybe follow Ambessa's orders. That's all I really wanted to say about her, so moving on to Vi's section. We now see Vi, she's looking in a mirror, and she's kind of putting this black sort of stage makeup on her face. She's dyed her hair black, and she's gone for this kind of full wardrobe transformation. She's now in the ring, and she's punching out her feelings. It's the only way she knows how to express herself at the end of the day. She's got no one to fall back onto, and she's alone, solely alone in this act. And this is where I feel like Laurie or someone like Maddie, who have gotten to know Vi on a more personal level, will try to find her. On second thought, I feel like Loris or Laurie will actually try to find her compared to Maddie, because Maddie is more a yes man for Caitlyn. She's like her lieutenant, like one underneath Caitlyn, I'd say. And so I think Loris, who is more aware and less naive, will then try and find Vi to convince her to come back and save Caitlyn and Jinx as well. After this, we see the Undercity being rallied together by supposedly Jinx, because they've all got the blue hair and they look a lot like her, a bit like cosplayers. But we also see the Fireflies, and they're in the middle of this crowd, right? And they're kind of looking together quite cautiously. They're concerned about what's going on. And there might be some inner conflict between Jinx's new supporters and Echo's more humanitarian cause. We then cut to the spray-painted mural of Jinx, and this really goes to show how she's seen within the eyes of the people of Zorn. We then see her sort of surrounded by her followers for a couple more shots, and then a shot of her standing in the middle of them, addressing them, right? And this is interesting because she's taken the sort of mantle. She's the sort of figurehead of Zorn now. She's the hero, apparently. But she's saying it semi-sarcastically. She doesn't fully believe in the cause that she's now a part of. And I believe this also plays back into season 1, where she was working for Silco, the supposed industrialist, right? But she didn't really care about the gang. She only really cared about Silco. And it's more, I don't care about the people around me. I care about myself. What do you see in me? She has always seen herself as some sort of failure. She's low self-esteem. And this is interesting because it's just kind of she's playing into that, but once again, she doesn't really believe in herself. Next, we're shown Jinx in a fight with what looks to be Warwick, or the abomination that Sigurd was working on. And I really do hope this isn't Vander, although it's pretty likely at this point, mostly just because, personally, I think it will undercut the depth and impact of what Vander's character was like meant to be. He was meant to be this tragic figurehead that died for a noble cause. The next clip after this is of a cloaked figure, and they are planting some sort of like smoke bomb or explosive, and they are detonating it in front of what looks to be an enforcer, but that might just be an unrelated clip. But this is definitely Victor, and I feel like the Hextech core of Victor could be something more malignant, almost. I feel like it's having a negative effect on him, and the hallucinations might just be a part of the sort of Hextech manipulating him, right? And this is kind of building off of what Sarcastic Chorus said, so it isn't wholly my original idea, but seeing what is in the sneak peek kind of aligns with that a bit more. Next, we see Mel being attacked by the Black Rose entity, and we know that Ambessa Madada values family above all else, so attacking her last child, or her only remaining child, is probably the best way to get under her skin and destroy the influence that she has in Piltover. Because if Ambessa Madada loses her only daughter, and she's already lost her son, that could emotionally cripple her and weaken her claim on the city. And we might see Mel die in the second act, because in the next shot along, we see Jace, and he is looking defeated and tired. He doesn't have the clean-shaven appearance that he usually has throughout the entirety of the show, and he looks like a broken man. So I do think that Mel's death is an incredibly high possibility here. Or maybe, like in the end of season 1, the tattoos might prevent her from dying and she's just gravely injured instead. In the trailer, Jinx then comes into a battle with Ambessa's personal guard. So this could be Caitlyn deploying the Noxian forces out to Zorn to go kill Jinx, or maybe Caitlyn's at the head of this, and Ambessa has sent her personal guard to almost look after Caitlyn, or if she goes out of line, finish Caitlyn off. We are then shown a battle between the Noxian Royal Guard and Vi, and I wouldn't have expected this, but it seems like Vi may have sided with Jinx, or at least the Fireflies, or someone of that nature, to have been attacked by the Noxian soldiers. This is quite interesting because maybe it alludes to Jinx and Vi becoming sisters again. Although I'm sceptical of this idea because I feel like they would have saved that for Act 3, or when they conclude the show itself. We then get a shot of Savika saving Isha, or Aisha, and getting him out of a bad situation. And he's been in a couple before. He was attacked by Smeech's gang, and he was almost shot by Caitlyn if Vi didn't stop her. But this is to be expected. Once again, I don't really have anything to comment on apart from why is he in another fight? That poor kid. We then see Vi confronting some sort of abomination or monstrosity. Once again, I feel like people might say that this is Warwick, or it could actually be Warwick, but I'm just hoping that it isn't Vander. I don't really have much else to say, so if you did enjoy this video, feel free to like, dislike, comment, subscribe, you know, the full Monty, but I would like to hear your thoughts at the end of the day, so yeah, feel free to give me your feedback and whatnot. Okay, that's all I wanted to say, so have a nice day. Bye.